Hi, I'm Dan Faber, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber Incorporated. As a licensed insolvency trustee, we're approached by people with commonly asked questions, and we'd like to address those commonly asked questions today. The top 5 questions that we are asked concerning bankruptcy are, number 1, what will happen to my home if I file for bankruptcy? Number 2, how long does a bankruptcy last? Number 3, and this is quite important, well, all of them are important, but does filing for bankruptcy affect my spouse? Number 4, if I go bankrupt, what can I keep? And then number 5, what happens to my debts? So we'll address those things serially, and I'll start right away. Question number 1, what will happen to my house if I go bankrupt? As trustees in bankruptcy, we're people also, and we understand you need your home. And we understand your home is a place of refuge, and we are not in the habit of taking homes from people. However, the trustee has an obligation to look at the value of your home, consider its value, consider the mortgage, consider the amount of equity in the home, and any excess equity you have above your exemption, which is $40,000 for the whole house. We have to consider and realize on it for the benefit of the creditors. But if you want to keep your home, you will keep your home. We will not take it from you. Question number 2, how long does a bankruptcy last? The length of a bankruptcy varies from situation to situation, but the minimum amount of time is 9 months in most cases. It can be 21 months if you have a relatively high income. It can be 2 years or 3 years if you've been bankrupt before. If you have high income tax debt, it can be probably 3 years. So the length of time varies depending on your situation. There's a certain amount of money that must be paid into a bankruptcy, and we can extend the length of the bankruptcy to enable you to pay that amount of money if you can't afford the monthly payments that would take it to 9 months or 21 months, etc. So the basic amount of time is 9 months, but it gets extended for various reasons. If you want to go into more detail about one of the questions in this video, or any other debt-related questions that you might have, please reach out to Faber at 1-877-944-1177 or visit our website at faber.ca. Question number 3, does filing for bankruptcy affect my spouse? The short answer is no. Please understand that in bankruptcy, the law is based on contract law, not on matrimonial law. If your spouse has not signed the contracts with you, then your spouse is not involved. We'll look at your assets, we'll look at your debts, we'll give you creditor protection. Question number 4, if I go bankrupt, what can I keep? In general, the trustee's required to leave you with the assets you need for living. So those type of assets include your home, a vehicle, things like pensions and RRSPs and RESPs for your children. And if you look at your personal effects and your household items, we can't generally take those things. What the trustee will take are your luxuries. And we take the luxuries in order to give that type of money to your creditors. So the luxuries would include things like you own a rental property, you have a timeshare in Hawaii, you have really expensive golf clubs, you have non-registered investment, things like that. The trustee will look very carefully at and determine what to do with those assets. Question number 5, what happens to my debts when I file for bankruptcy? When you file for bankruptcy, the debts are dealt with according to their nature. Debts that have the nature of criminal activity, for instance, cannot be written off. So if it's related to a fraud or embezzlement or theft or false representation, those debts obviously are not dealt with in the bankruptcy regime. If the debts relate to child support or spousal support, fines and payments ordered by the court, those also are not dealt with by the bankruptcy regime. Student loans are a special case. They're unique, so we'd have to look at the circumstances for student loans to determine what would happen there. But all other debts are dealt with in the bankruptcy process. So your debts for credit card balances, for unsecured personal loans, payday loans, medical bills, utilities, and even your tax obligations with Canada Revenue Agency. They are dealt with in the bankruptcy and will be discharged provided you perform your duties and you comply with the requirements of the bankruptcy regime. If you have any questions about what you've just seen on this video or with other debt-related matters, please call Faber toll-free at 1-877-944-1177 or go to our website at faber.ca. You will always be speaking to a licensed insolvency trustee who has the experience and knowledge to help you make an informed decision. To learn more about our other forward-thinking debt solutions, please click here.